Hello and welcome back to my recipe videos on fitness industry truths. Today we are going to be making Valentine's Day strawberry protein donuts. Got a lot of requests for this, so I wanted to bring you guys this video, show you how to make them, some of the little tips and tricks that I use when I am making some of these protein donuts. As I said before, a lot of you already know, donuts are probably my favorite thing, so I'm super excited to bring you this video. So let's jump right into it. Alright, so some of the ingredients that you're going to need for this, and I will be posting the ingredient list and directions on how to make this at the end of the video. But the ingredients we're going to use today: almond flour. We're going to use 70 grams of the blanched almond flour. This is something that kind of substitutes perfectly for regular flour. It's going to be one of my favorites, gluten-free, so if you're allergic or sensitive, that's a great option. If you're not using that already, go ahead and snag some of that up. We're making strawberry protein donuts, so of course we're going to have strawberries. I've got 140 grams of strawberries right here. Ideally we'd be using fresh, but since it is February, fresh strawberries would cost an arm and a leg, so we're going to opt in for some frozen ones. What I did is I just defrosted these. I put them in the microwave for about 30 seconds so that they unfroze and became a little bit less crappy. So next, these are going to be some things that you can actually substitute now, guys. So what we're going to need is we're going to need a light, non-fat Greek yogurt, and I'm actually going to use a strawberry flavor. If you don't want to make them too strawberry, or you just want that hint of strawberry, go ahead and use just a plain vanilla light Greek yogurt. 80 calories in one of these, so try to find an equivalent. Again, I'm going to make it a little bit more strawberry. I'm actually going to use this applesauce. It's unsweetened strawberry applesauce. So you can find this at the grocery store. It might be a little bit tougher, but I know a ton of grocery stores have it. This is going to be something that you use. So the reason we're using applesauce is so that you can keep your donuts a little bit more moist, because we're going to be omitting some of the other things that a lot of people generally use in their donuts. But this is good key for moisture. Obviously, we're going to need a little bit of baking powder. This is what's going to help rise the donuts, make them fluffy, give them that donut-y texture. So what I was saying is we're going to omit some of the things. So instead of using whole eggs, I'm only going to use egg whites. So I'm going to use 2 servings of egg whites, which is 92 grams. This way I can lower the fat content. Now, if you're doing a keto, guys, keto diets, they're going to need that extra fat. So go ahead and use those eggs, those whole eggs. But for my donuts, for my recipe, for my liking, I'm actually going to use these egg whites. Just be careful. And that's the reason we're using this applesauce, is so that we can keep them moist. And then lastly, you probably are going to need protein powder. I'm currently using the Rule 1 Whey Blend. Now, be very, very careful when you're using your protein powders. Focus on quality, quality, quality. Different protein powders are not going to bake. They're not going to cook as well. This whey from Rule 1 is probably one of my favorites to use, because whey concentrate generally is going to be a little bit more moist. If you can get a casein, that might be even a little bit better. Those kind of proteins are going to retain the moisture a little bit better than your isolates and your hydrolates. Now, generally, they're going to be 20 to 30 calories more per serving, but for this recipe, we will be using that Rule 1. You can find a ton of different proteins everywhere. Obviously, if you're curious about a protein, just go ahead and give Complete Nutrition a call. Let's take this second to thank Complete Nutrition. They actually are the sponsor of the video, of course. So they're going to be able to get you all your protein needs, help you guys out. The protein donuts, I'm going to make 2 different varieties when it comes to toppings. The first one, I'm just going to use a nice little glaze, and I love to use this Swerve confectioner. This is probably the easiest thing you can use. You can find these in your grocery stores, Amazon, all that good stuff, and I'll put links in there into the bio so that you guys can find some of this stuff. You use that Swerve here to make a nice little glaze over it. But we're also going to be making a strawberry frosting, so I'm actually going to be using fat-free cream cheese, a little bit of stevia drop, and about a half a teaspoon of the imitation vanilla. Now, obviously, you can use pure vanilla extract as well, but we'll get into that at a later part of the video, and we'll frost and top the donuts. So let's jump right into actually making these. All right, guys, so before you actually start making your donuts, you need to go ahead and you need to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. This way it's going to be nice and hot so that when we get our donut batter ready, we're able just to throw them right in. Alright, so now that we got our setup here, let's go ahead and start adding our dry ingredients into the mix. So first thing we're going to need is 70 grams of almond flour. Again, this is what we're going to use to replace normal flour. Next, we're going to add 3 scoops of our Rule 1 protein. Again, we're using a whey base because this is what's going to mix and it's going to keep and retain the moisture. So per serving, another pro tip guys, when you're cooking, make sure you pay attention to what the back of the nutrition label says. So for instance, this one is 33 grams per scoop. So sometimes the nutrition labels will not match the scoop size that they're actually using. So be very, very careful because sometimes they will be a little bit deceiving. Next, we're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of, or 1 teaspoon, excuse me, of our baking powder. This is what gives us that really fluffy, that consistency. This is what actually allows it to rise. So, 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Perfect. Alright guys, so go ahead, I'm going to mix this up real quick and we will then add the liquid ingredients. We've got our dry ingredients mixed up, so next thing we need to do is actually, in a separate bowl, put our liquid egg whites, our Greek yogurt, our applesauce, and we're going to mix that up so that we can add that to our dry. Alright, so the first thing we're going to add is we're going to add our liquid egg whites. Again, we're going to use 92 grams of these liquid egg whites. That would equal about 2 large eggs. And we went just a tiny bit overboard, but that's not a problem. Next, we're going to use our applesauce. I'm using this strawberry unsweetened. There's 50 calories in here, but this is key for retaining the moisture of our donuts. So we use this whole container. Oh man, that smells so good. I want some applesauce. Alright, perfect. Next, we're going to add our light Greek yogurt, and this is the strawberry one. Again, you can use vanilla or any other flavor, but obviously if we're making strawberry, we want it to be probably a strawberry or a vanilla flavor. So we need to combine this so that we can make it a little consistent, and then we'll add this to the dry ingredients. Alright, perfect. So we've got our liquid egg whites, our applesauce, and our Greek yogurt combined. We don't want to do it too much, just enough so it's a consistent little bit. Next, we're going to add in our dry ingredients. So our dry ingredients, we're going to put a little bit in at a time because we don't want to overdo the batter. We don't want to put too much in at one time. We want to make it nice, smooth, and consistent. So we're going to add that in. As you can see, it starts to thicken up just a little bit. And then once we get it kind of scooped in there, we'll add the rest of it. So again, we use the strawberry applesauce sweetened, and then we use strawberry Greek yogurt because I want them to taste more strawberry. And then when we add the real strawberries in, it'll just give it that awesome little last bit of kick. So stir it up, make sure that we get it nice and consistent. We don't want to over stir. We don't want to use like a hand mixer or anything like that. So as you can see, we've got a thick, consistent batter here. If you're noticing that it's a little bit runny, what you can do is you can actually add this to the freezer, let it sit for about 5 minutes. That'll just thicken it up. Alright, so next, a lot of people do not have these. Go ahead and grab one of these. They are on Amazon, guys. They're just little donut molds. I use the silicone ones because they're super easy to use, easy to clean, and generally they don't cost a whole lot. I think I got a 3-pack of these for like $9. I'll link that in the description. What we need to do is we actually need to spray some non-stick spray to this so that we can make sure that the donuts do not stick. Alright, we got our donut pan greased up, so now we're just going to add our batter to the donut molds. Now we want to fill them not quite all the way to the top because then they might overcook over the edge, but we're going to get these all filled up. All right, so we got our donuts all molded together. Now we got to add our strawberries. So literally all you need to do is take your strawberries, and if they're a little bit big, you can break them apart or slice them apart. But we're gonna take these and we're just gonna throw these in each of our donuts evenly. All right, so we got our strawberries in our donut mold. So now all we have to do is bake these. All right, so just took the donuts out of the oven. I took them out about 1 minute early because they were done. So a good way to test it, just use that old-fashioned toothpick trick. If it comes up clean, they are done. So let's get these bad boys on a cooling rack. We'll let them cool for a little bit, and then we'll actually add the glaze and the frosting. All right, guys, we are done frosting these donuts, and I gotta say, I overdid myself. I didn't think that I'd be able to handle this, so I ended up coming out with two separate donuts here. One is gonna be your regular strawberry glazed, and when you're adding up your macros on that, make sure to not really care because the glaze is sugar-free. Again, we're using that swerve. You just add that with a little bit of water until you get a very nice thin glaze, and you just dunk the donut in there, and then you get that glaze. The second one I made is actually a little bit different. I went with that frosting, it's cream cheese, stevia, a little bit of vanilla, and then I used a strawberry Greek yogurt, blended it all together, and then I came out with a strawberries and cream donut. So if you guys want to check these out, strawberries and cream donut right here, guys, and then you can kind of see that. So the macros on that one just gonna be a tiny bit more just because of the added frosting, but then we've got our delicious glazed. So as you guys can kind of see, lighting's not that good. We have a plain glazed strawberry protein donut, and that does not have any added macros from the glazed topping. So I hope you guys found this video super helpful. I love doing this. I love baking. I love trying new things out. So if you guys have any suggestions for me to try, please send them my way. If you have any questions, DM me, put them in the comments below. And if you guys found this video helpful in other ways, please share and subscribe. That helps me out a lot, and it helps me bring you guys more content. So hope you guys have a fantastic Valentine's Day. Make these for your Valentine, and I'm sure that they will be super happy, and it's a great healthy way to get a kick on one of your favorite